Woo! Oh, man, let's talk about referees and how awful they are. What's going on, everybody? My name is Daniel Augustin. This is Multi-Hyphenate AF. And I got this clip I want to show really quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and dive into what the hell it is that's on my mind. You dig? Let's do this.
So, as opposed to just getting a report on Monday, you turn in 10. We had a game. I'm not criticizing. I can't tell you. I ain't gonna tell you the game. I'm not gonna say the game, but we're only allowed to turn in. There's a system of accountability, but y'all don't know anything about it. It's behind a curtain. How dare we have accountability? In the meantime, we got gambling issues going on, people being suspended, all that kind of stuff, right? Yep. I mean, refs are people too. It ain't just coaches and players, and if they're a part of the game, then by God, they ought to be a part of the game.
Feel me?
And they ought to be a part of the accountability, and they ought to be a part of the consequences, not just behind some shadowy curtain. No, they ought to have to answer for it. And listen, there's judgment calls and all that, and I mean, we just have to disagree to disagree. But there's also absolute flat-out misses with no consequences. And and you get a shoot. We're allowed to turn in 10 calls. All right, and so we had a game earlier this year that we lost. I had 14 I wanted to turn in, but I only turned in 10. All right. I thought 8 were wrong, but got back. Yep, missed it. 5 of the 10 were wrong. And I mean, these are game-changing calls. Obvious pass interference not called that takes you off the field. But we just get this will be addressed with the crew and yada, yada, yada. Okay? Yeah, but you ain't there's no public accountability. Ain't none of that. So that's the system. The system needs to change. It needs to be changed. There needs to be challenge opportunity, and we need full-time officials. If you're going to have this type of stakes,
Okay. I've been talking about this for forever. Ever since I was a kid, man, and I was playing in Little League even, I just always felt like these refs suck. And it's easy to feel that way when they call something wrong on you or on your team. But ultimately, refs are just regular people who unfortunately become this huge impact. Their finger is on the scale of the game, and it shouldn't feel that way at all. We shouldn't even feel the refs. We shouldn't even feel them. We shouldn't even know they're there. We should be watching the game because it's my team versus your team, and we just want to enjoy ourselves. And yes, understandably so, when there's a call that needs to be made, that's when the ref should show up, pop out, and say the call right quick, An egregious holding. Egregious. I'm talking about egregious. Some refs are calling holding calls that ain't got nothing to do with the play. Nothing to do with the play. It was a run play. Wide receiver happened to run deep. Corner held him a little bit. And they called that holding call in the corner. But it's a fucking run play. And now they got a first down off of a play that had nothing to do with it. All right. DJ Lagway throws a deep pass to Sturdivant, and we're watching it. We got multiple cameras out here. And once the ref decides that, nope, incomplete pass, there's nothing that we can do about it. No, we can't do nothing. We just got to go back, run the play over, try again. Why don't the referees do the post-game conference? Why aren't referees showing up to the post-game conference because people want to ask about a call? Why aren't refs being held to that same standard? These players, these coaches work so hard. I'm talking about before the season, they're already working. They're recruiting, bringing these guys in, getting these guys to buy into a system, to a way of doing things. They spend months working, training, and then they have these games where some random ass referee who's seasonal, part-time, whatever the fuck, makes a call that impacts the game, and it's a wrong call. They just throw in the flag because it looks like pass interference. And the ref impacts the game. The ref impacts these guys and these teams that have been working so much harder than they ask. You don't work as hard as we do, but you get to impact us more than our work ethic would. I'm dumbfounded. I'm at a loss for words for how bad refereeing is. And the fact that we've been known about the Tim Donaghy thing, we know there's more out there. There has to be more out there. Anytime I watch a WNBA game, anytime I watch Caitlin Clark, I can't help but think the referees are cheating, and it might be prepped that way by the league. The fact that the league fines you, by the way, Dabo Swinney got fined like I don't know how much for this, for what he said here. You get fined anytime you say anything about the referees. Anytime you say anything about the referees, unless you go out there and say the refs did called a great game, no, you get fined for shining a light on the referees. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Where is the transparency that's allowed? How does it make sense that I get to reach out to the league and say these calls I believe were messed up, and the league just says they'll be addressed with the crew? What does that do for me? The game's over. We lost the game. Those calls make a big impact. That drive, we had good momentum going on that drive. We already picked up 3 first downs. We're in the middle of the field, and then you don't call this pass interference, this blatant pass interference call, but then now we got a punt. And maybe the other team didn't score, but they just held on to the ball for 8 fucking minutes. And we were actually down 2 scores. And now it ain't but 3 minutes left on the clock. And now you're going to call a good game. Because now it's clear that we don't have that much time. And so now you're going to... It's a shame that we struggle to have faith in our systems. I struggle to have faith in politics. I struggle to trust that there's any truth in what anybody's saying. I struggle to trust that there's truth in how the refs are calling the game. If you're going to be successful in sports, you're going to have to do it despite the referees getting in the way. Or should I say in spite of? I always kind of struggle a little bit between in spite of and despite. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, I believe that the only way to be successful is for your team to be able to beat the other team and beat the referees. You can't leave it in the referees' hands. This is how I would coach my guys up. This is what I would tell my team. The refs are going to call some bullshit. So we need to be able to beat the bullshit and beat the other team. If I'm in practice and my guys get a first down, I'm going to go ahead and just push it back and say, nope, now it's 1st and 20. So offensive coordinator, find a play. Guys, mentally, you guys have to figure out how to overcome getting cheated and feeling like you're getting cheated. You're going to have to figure out how to look at this as a challenge that you're delighted to beat. You're delighted to beat the referees too. You're delighted to beat the opposing team too. You're delighted to beat the fans and get the fans to shut the fuck up. You're delighted. This is the only way for coaches. You're gonna, as coaches, you literally have to get your guys to overcome so much bullshit mentally. And a lot of these guys, they crash out early on, first quarter, second quarter, a couple bad calls, they're done. Especially if the other team's scoring. Especially if it feels like the refs are supporting the other team and not yours. Tell me how you feel about this. This frustrates me because I love sports so much, but there's always something about that game that you just know that right there goes beyond the skill of these guys on the team and on the floor, on the field, and it goes beyond how well these guys are coaching. No, this ref might have an agenda. That call, that from oh man, the Super Bowl, the New Orleans situation where New Orleans got pass interfered against. Why? I can't think of the other team right now. Come on, dog. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Would really appreciate it if you decided to subscribe. That would make my fucking day. You dig? Would make my